guys, so today we're going to actually move into the last section of chapter 3, section 3.5, and it's on slope. So hopefully you remember from algebra 1, y equals mx plus b. That's your slope-intercept form. We are going to work with this, so don't freak out if you don't know it. We'll reteach it. But you have your slope as your m and your intercept as your b. That's what we're going to be working with today. Now we're going to take it a step further and talk about what makes lines parallel or perpendicular, to put that geometry spin on it. So a little review from Algebra 1, slope formula. You might have learned rise over run, right? Rise over run. Or you might have learned the formula. Sorry. Subtract your y's, that's your rise. Subtract your x's. And that should totally be a 1. I don't know why that's a 2, I'm sorry. X2 minus x1. So you can either use the formula, or if you have a graph, you can count rise over run. Let's talk about reading a graph. So a positive, if it has a positive slope, you always read from left to right, your line should be going up. If it has a negative slope, again, you always read from left to right, your line should be going down. Now 0 and undefined. Zero slope is going to be those horizontal lines. Undefined is going to be those vertical lines. So these ones are going to have the equation like maybe y equals 1. That would probably be a good equation for that. A good equation for this might be x equals 1. Because every point on this line, your x-coordinate is 1. 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. All right, so those are just good examples of, the different types of slope you might run into. So let's find the slope. If I have a graph, I'm definitely gonna do rise over run. So pick a point, any point. I'm gonna pick A, and let's do rise over run. Rise means up or down, so up is positive, down is negative. So we're going to move up 1, 2, so that's positive 2. And then we're going to move, run is your left and right. Remember, right is positive, left is negative. So we're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right, which is positive 5. And there's your slope. 2/5. Up 2, 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here, if you want, like let's say you forgot that undefined is a vertical line and 0 is a horizontal line. Let's say you forgot. You could always do rise over run. Right, rise over run, and you'll find out that it is undefined. So if you do, let's say you pick point C. We did rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's up 8, which is positive. And then there's no run, so your run is 0. Right? You didn't move left or right. And here's your big no-no. You cannot divide by 0. That's why it's undefined. So even if you forgot which one's which, and a lot of people do, they forget which one's 0 slope and which one's undefined, you can still use rise over run and kind of figure it out. If 0 is in the denominator, that's a big no-no. And that's where undefined comes in. Now the geometry spin. Parallel lines, so if two lines are parallel, they should have the same slope. They should have the same slope. They're never going to touch each other. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1, whatever it is. If they're perpendicular, it should be the inverse reciprocal. And you might say, what on earth does that mean? All right, so let's say our slope was positive 2. Our perpendicular slope, positive is going to become negative. There's inverse. And then technically this is 2 over 1. Reciprocal means flip it. So 2 over 1 becomes 1 over 2. So this would be a perpendicular slope. Two lines that are crossing at a right angle. So again, positive became negative. 2 over 1 became 1 over 2. So this asks you to actually determine if the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So let's do it. Now there's not a graph here, so I'm going to use my slope formula. So we'll do AB first. So it's always y's up top. So we got a 5 and a 1. I'm going to do 5 minus 1. But make sure you stick to your order. So I did 5 minus 1. Now for my x's, I'm going to do 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2. Stick to your order. 5 minus 1 is 4. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So we got a slope of negative 4. And then for CD, my y coordinate, what do we have? Negative 2 minus 2, subtract your y's, and then again, x is in the same order. So we did negative 2 minus 2. We're going to do 5 minus 4. 5 minus 4. Running out of room here, sorry. Negative 2 minus 2 more is negative 4. And then 5 minus 4 is 1, so we get negative 4. So the slopes are the same, which means I have parallel lines. Lines are parallel if your slopes are the same. The slopes are both negative 4. Try another one. ST, so let's start with ST. So subtract your y's, so we have 2 minus negative 1. And then x is in the same order, so negative 2 minus 5. So minus negative becomes plus. 2 plus 1 is 3. Negative 2 minus 5 makes negative 7, so we have negative 3/7. And then UV, same formula. So my y coordinates, it looks like I have a negative 4 minus 4. And again, keep the same order with your x's, negative 1 minus 3. So we have negative 8 on top, and we have negative 4 on the bottom. Negative 8 divided by negative 4 is positive 2. Those slopes have absolutely nothing in common, so that would be neither. They're not parallel because they're not the same, and they're not perpendicular because it's not inverse reciprocals. Right here, positive, it would have had to become positive 7/3. Definitely did not happen. Next one, let's do FG. So our slope is subtract your y's, 2 minus 1, and subtract your x's, 2 minus 1. So 2 minus 1 is 1, 2 minus 1 is 1, 1 divided by 1 is 1. HJ. So my y coordinates, 2 minus 1, and my x coordinate is 1 minus 2. All right, make sure you go in the same order. They're putting a lot of 1 and 2's in here for us. Gets a little confusing. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. So here, notice they're not the same, so it's not parallel. And perpendicular, two things have to happen. Positive becomes negative, which it did, and it has to be a reciprocal. It has to flip. Well, 1 over 1 is still 1 over 1 when you flip it. So yes, technically it is flipped. This is perpendicular. All right. Oh, that's it. There's your homework. Get it done. Make sure you show all your work. And tell me if you have any issues. Bye, guys.